Okay, so this week we're talking about TikTok for business. Is it time to get involved? It's a very exciting topic because it's quite new. It's been around since just before the pandemic, but it is actually one of the younger social media channels and it's taken the world by storm. It's constantly in the news. So just a quick introduction to me. I'm David Lowbridge, online marketing consultant, strategist and copywriter. I've been working in the industry for 12 years. I've got degrees and masters in business from the University of Sheffield. And as a fun fact, I am a licensed and qualified reptile breeder and educator. So in today's session, we're going to be covering several topics around TikTok and asking whether it is suitable for business. That's one of the first things that we're doing. We're going to be covering the business case for using TikTok, the creation of a profile, how to engage with videos already published, types of content on TikTok, how to create excellent videos on TikTok, and how to move people from TikTok to other platforms. That's part of the process of all marketing. It's not just to keep them on the profile, but to get them into that sales funnel so you can actually earn some money from your activities. So a few quick TikTok statistics. While it's a new platform, it's still seeing growth of 15% year on year, which is exceptional growth when you compare it to other platforms, such as Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, LinkedIn. Their growth is at about 1% at best. 27% of marketers, so more than a quarter, planning to use the platform for the first time in 2024. Marketers say that TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook have the biggest potential to grow in 2024. That's in terms of usage and the amount that they can earn from them. At the top of the list is TikTok, followed by Instagram. One of the we're going to be talking about this a lot later, but 6 to 9 p.m. is often cited as one of the best times to publish on the platform. But I will be going through some of the statistics with you to demonstrate how, while this is often cited by TikTok and some other experts, that some of the data doesn't actually show that. But as a general rule of thumb, 6 to 9 p.m. 10% of Generation Z are relying on TikTok more than Google. So this is an important one because we always talk about how Google is so critical for the success of your business getting the SEO. But for some of the younger generation, you might actually have to use TikTok in order to reach them. And TikTok's CPM is half the cost of Instagram, a third of the cost of Twitter, and 62% less than Snapchat. So that's how much it costs using TikTok's promotional platform to get results. So it's showing that TikTok is actually very good value for money, and TikTok's largest age group is between the ages of 18 and 25, so 24, sorry. So again, that's the Generation Z. So the next thing we're going to do is be talking about how to build a TikTok account, because we've seen in the previous slide here why it's important to do it. There are just so many factors which are stating TikTok is going to be good for you. So let's talk about how we can build that account, because you can't just go on TikTok and just sign up and that's it. You're going, you've got to build an account to attract people. So building a good TikTok account is very similar to building profiles on other platforms. So like LinkedIn, like on Instagram, like on Facebook, there are certain things that you need, which are the bread and butter of social media. For instance, a profile picture, a description about you, your brand, and what you have to offer, connecting your profile to a website page, a great username, and related and highly used hashtags. Now, the username is slightly different because on other platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, you might not have a username that's different from your brand name or your personal name. But on TikTok, you might want to have a slightly different username. So, username guidelines on TikTok, it's often forgotten because people don't really see it as something that's incredibly important. They just put on a username and hope that will work. But there are things to consider. One, you've got to connect your username on TikTok to your current business and branding to ensure that it is current and also searchable and related. You can't just have a name that people aren't going to connect with you. You've also got to make sure that it's vastly different to other brands already active on the platform. And this is something that happens with a lot of profiles on a lot of networks, is that two companies or two personalities have similar names. And what happens is that you search for one and the other one that might be more popular suddenly appears in the search results, and people who are searching for you go to the other profile. And if they've got a very similar name within the niche, that can actually lose you followers and lose you attention and lose you eventually leads. The name must be user friendly. So what we mean by this is that you've got to be able to, someone's got to be able to spell it. There's no point having a very, very challenging username that people can't spell, because as soon as they search for it, they're going to be picking up the other people or they won't find you. And that's one of the problems that some people have, is that they create overly complicated names and people can't find them because they type them in wrong. A name should be polite, clean, and accessible to all. That's not just a requirement just to attract people, that's also part of the terms and conditions. The name could be a play on words. That's if you want to get very creative and you're finding it a struggle with your current branding, to find something on TikTok that is unique. And branding is key. People should recognize the name immediately. So if remember that when we're creating these social profiles, like we've created them with LinkedIn, like we've done it on blogging and things like that, you create this kind of branding, this persona for your business. But what you want to do is you want to keep that consistent throughout every channel that you're doing. So you can't be one persona on LinkedIn and then a totally different one on TikTok, because it will confuse. What you want is people to be able to switch between TikTok, Facebook, your website, a blog, email. You want them to be able to go in between any of those and instantly recognize your brand and your individuality, what you stand for, your ethics, everything like that. It needs to be recognizable, and your username is part of that. The next thing that you need to do is develop a profile picture. Now, on TikTok, a lot of TikTok views are on the mobile, which is a very small screen, and the profile picture is also very, very small. You're not talking large. On a tablet, it may be a little bit bigger, but you're still talking about a very, very small picture. And therefore, it can be slightly more challenging to create a high value image than on other platforms where the image is often quite big. But at the same time, you want to create an image that is similar and relatable to the other platforms to create that kind of consistency between them all. You also want to have something that's very bold and eye-catching, because it can get lost on videos if it's in the background, and how people start following you or start to engage with your other videos. It all goes through that profile picture. And so one of the first things you should do is avoid intricate designs, ones with lots of little lines and lots of little images within the picture. It should be something very simple, bold, eye-catching. And that way, what you're getting is something that stands out on the image, something that attracts the eye, but something that's also related to all your other channels. And once you start doing that, you will start getting people following you, interacting with other videos that they see, and then also connecting to you on other channels and seeing that. And we've discussed before how it can take up to 15 touch points before you make a sale, especially in B2B environments. And so they don't all have to happen on the same channel or the same platform. They can happen across the mediums. So the more chances that you've got of connecting with them on other platforms increases the chance of that sale happening quicker. Instead of waiting for them to see 15 TikTok videos, they could see 3 or 4 touch points in a single day. Now, the next part of it is the profile description on TikTok. The profile description is critical for numerous reasons. It helps get a profile seen in search results. Lots of people will type something into the TikTok search, and if you've got the right keyword in the description, it will give you that kind of positioning in the search results. You can also use the profile description to build traffic to other platforms and to your website. It can help you generate more followers and fans. A good, convincing description is something that's going to create an emotional response within your audience. They're going to go, yes, this is content I want to listen to or watch or engage with. This is something that's going to entertain me or educate me or get me to connect with a group, give me some kind of ownership, that kind of community ownership. And you can also set audience expectations for your content. So you can tell them what they can expect from you, whether that's going to be educational or entertainment or a journey. You can set those expectations within that profile description and establish the topics that you're going to cover. And then also you can get readers to take action after reading your profile. So that action could be to follow your TikTok. It could be go to your website, sign up to a mailing list, go and visit your Instagram. Instagram's a very popular connection with TikTok. Just using a call to action, using some kind of reason to move on, so that kind of emotion will help you move them from TikTok onto another platform or to keep with you on TikTok. So there are parts of profile description that you have to conform to. You only have 80 characters to get your message across. That is actually quite a short amount of characters in TikTok. You have to have a call to action in there, like we discussed, getting them from reading your profile to doing something else, following you, sharing your videos, linking on websites, linking to a mailing list. It doesn't matter. Get them to do something. You want to link to brand identifiers. So what you do, your values, your belief, your value proposition. What can you offer them that others can't? And then you want to avoid using technical words. Use terms that your audience will use. This is something that's very common, especially within businesses, is that they tend to go very high technical, very salesy, very jargon, a lot of jargon, and that can be very off-putting to audiences. They can look at that and just go, I don't want to know about that. That seems too much for me. Are they going to talk to me like that? And I'm not going to understand it. You want to talk at their level, at their ability. And then you want to use hashtags within your description, but you don't want to tag these to the end. You want to try to use them inside your description. So you might say something like, we offer, and then you do a hashtag software development, tips and tricks. And you're doing a hashtag of software development in the middle of it, because people will be able to read that. But at the same time, you're not creating a description, then having to make that description shorter in order to fit hashtags onto the end. And that's quite common in many platforms. You want to do that in Facebook, and you want to do that in Twitter, X, formerly Twitter, and other things as well, because it kind of helps you to get your message across more concisely, and yet still connects your content with others. And then you want to use a maximum of 3 hashtags in any description. And this is to prevent your profile looking spammy. So part of the process of this is choosing the 3 most important hashtags for your TikTok profile. So the 3 things that you think are going to get people there more, but are still relevant to your brand and also relevant to the content that you're going to publish. And then you've got your profile links, and the profile links to get people from your channel to another channel. So it can be your website homepage or a landing page for like a free PDF. It could be adding your YouTube or your Instagram accounts. And Instagram's very popular. A lot of TikTokers who are very popular use their Instagram account as a second way to engage with them. The important thing is to make sure that your links are clean, professional. And what we mean by that is that they don't look messy. So they're not got loads of random letter number combinations, which can look quite unappealing to audiences. If you have to use a link shortener, because that makes it look cleaner, even though you do get those number combinations, but you can actually purchase ones which allow you to adjust the end so it looks more human, let's say, human friendly, reader friendly. Okay. So once you've created your profile, you're going to have to start creating content on there, and that's about creating videos for TikTok. I'm going to say this, video creation is not a simple task. It's not one of those things which you can just get up, film, and hope that it's going to reach thousands, millions of people. Part of this is because of the audience expectation on TikTok. Many brands are creating very highly polished videos that look like they were created for an award ceremony, and audience hate them. Why? Because a lot of your audience, a big part of your audience, they want authentic, relevant, and realistic videos. They want videos which look like they've come naturally from a person, like they have picked it up and just taken a video, but it's still got to keep that kind of professionalism. And the other thing that people do is that they create videos which have no benefit to the audience. So they're just promotional, or they're just self-centered almost. They're almost just about the person filming a video. They're not about the audience. So helping understanding the tips and tricks will help you create a better following and higher levels of engagement. And the point is that you want to get into the minds of your audience, know what they want, and then create content based around that. So here are some of the creation tips. These are things which are going to help you create better videos. The first thing is the first 3 seconds of a video. It's a very short amount of time. It is incredibly short, but this is the hook period on TikTok. This is the amount of time you have to stop the audience member swiping up and going on to the next video. And it's so important to just get those 3 seconds perfect in order to keep the person on your video. So one of the things is to use text, because text is very quick to read. Use it in the center of the video because it's always going to be on the screen. And you can let audience know what the video is about very quickly. They can see it this is where the focus of their attention is going to be. And you can create that kind of why they need to watch the video. Why do they need to stop scrolling and pay attention to you? One of the things is, the next thing is that you don't have it silent. The first 3 seconds should not be silent. It should be immediately you talking. You should be talking straight away, and it's that kind of immediate engagement. It's only 3 seconds. So what you might need to do is you might need to get yourself a video editor. You record your video and then cut the first bit until you start talking, and create that as the thing, because it can be very difficult turning on your phone and then getting into position. But that could take you 3-5 seconds, in which case you've lost the audience because they've already swiped up because you're not doing anything. And results and studies have shown that 3 seconds is so critical. And then don't use a blank background. People want these videos to be very interesting, very exciting, very what's the word? They want it to be engaging. They want to be able to see what's going on. A blank background looks boring. It looks uninteresting. And, things in the background might be a little distracting in other platforms, but for TikTok, they're exciting. There's something going on. So the next thing is to consider the audience engagement. So part of the thing with TikTok is that you've got to try to think of it as if you're on a video call to them. You're talking directly to the person watching the video. Remember, a lot of them are on their phone, so it's like you're in a video call with them. It's like you're actually calling up their mobile phone and talking to them, but you just can't hear what they're saying. So what you want to do is keep eye contact with the camera, as if you're talking to them. You want to talk to them in a friendly tone, like it's a phone call. You don't want to be talking like you're doing a presentation. And remember this, I'm going to say it constantly, I think, throughout this one, is that don't be so focused on creating a polished video. Authenticity is critical to success. Mistakes may happen. You don't have to you can re-record to iron out some big mistakes, but little mistakes, they create authenticity. They create relevance, and they create realism for the audience, and that can make you more attractive in the short term and get them to stay on the video, but also to stay with you as a brand. So the next one, and we've mentioned it briefly, is not to be promotional or to make videos all about you. So what we're talking about here is those videos where they go, oh, why should you buy from us? Or why we're the best in business, or look at us, we've just won an award. And I've got an example here of someone who might have created a video, my morning routine. It's all about the person. It's all about the creator. So switch that focus to the interest of the audience. So instead of my morning routine, it could be 5 morning routine hacks for work from home. Something really simple, a quick change around it. It's still you telling your story about your morning routine, but you've changed it into something that's educational and entertaining and about the audience, giving them advice, giving them value for watching your routine, watching your videos. And then also consider the latest trends on TikTok and create content that matches this. But I'm going to put a caveat on this. Don't be too late. These trends can start today and be over in a week. And if it takes you that long to do the video, you've missed the trend and you're out of date. And also, don't jump on a trend that's irrelevant. You know, sometimes trends aren't going to be suitable for you because it's not the type of content you produce. It's not the audience that you're looking to go with. It's not even relevant to what you want to do. And therefore, you don't want to be part of it. The other thing is to add text to videos. About 50% of audiences watch TikTok without the sound on. So all those people who create videos and rely on the audio to create an engagement with them, it doesn't quite work. So you can add a transcript of what you're saying, or you can create a brief of what you're saying on the videos. Something like that allows you to create the story, create the essence of what you're trying to portray to them without actually having to rely on the audience, and therefore you're engaging everyone. Because if someone doesn't have the audience in, if half your audience have the volume on and they're flicking through and they can't hear you or know what you're talking about, they're just going to flick off. So, and that way, the way the algorithm works with TikTok is that if they keep scrolling past you, you're not going to be shown to them as often. And then we're looking at the ideal length of videos. Now, when we're talking about video length, it's always different for each platform. Looking at YouTube, you're looking at between 8 to 12 minutes. When you're looking at Instagram, you're looking at about a minute to 2 minutes. And when you're looking at TikTok, we're looking at just 47 seconds, possibly up to a minute. It's not very long. And that's because the audience doesn't have the time quite often to watch super long videos. So they want to have shorter videos because it's just a quick watch and slip through and then flick onto the next video. What you might want to do is that we've had the example above, 5 morning routine hacks for work from home, but you could split that into 5 different videos. Each one, 5 morning routine hacks for work from home. Number 1, the second video, number 2. And therefore you get a series of them that you can publish that takes each one about 47 seconds, 48 seconds long. And then you're creating a series that people might then want to go and find out the rest of them. So you're creating an engagement, you're creating reasons for them because they want to know what else. You've given them one in one video, but they want to know what the other 4 are. And it also helps you to spread out your content so you don't have to think about how much content you're producing because you've got one idea that can cover you for a week or 2. And then the next point, and this is a very important one, is don't reuse content from other platforms. Audience don't like it. They don't want to see the same content on TikTok that they've seen on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. They don't want to see they don't want to see the same content. They want something unique. They want something new. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to shoot completely different videos, but you could edit videos, or you could adjust videos so that they're more trailers for what's on other platforms, or they're a summary of what you've done on other platforms, something that's new, or it could be behind the scenes. And that way you can create new content using content from other platforms that makes it unique and still bridges that gap. So you've got people coming from TikTok to the other platforms and also from the other platforms to TikTok. And that way you're creating those engagement points, those touch points, getting up to that 15 that makes that sale. So audio tips on TikTok. This is another important one. Now we've discussed audio is not always used on TikTok. 50% of users don't have the audio on. However, that doesn't mean that we have to ignore audio, because for 50% that are using it, bad audio will deter them from subscribing to your videos. They'll see you as lower quality. But also, audio can help improve engagement by setting a mood, setting an expectation, setting that emotional response that someone's going to have from the video. And you know, setting those expectations can be really important, because if someone's going to sit there and think they're going to get an exciting, fun video at the very beginning because you've used excellent music in or excellent audio, they're going to want that throughout the video. And if you deliver it, they're going to go, wow, that was really exciting. And they're going to follow you and they're going to check out your other videos, and you're creating those touch points again. And, you know, music can do that. The tone of your voice can do that. The speed of your voice, the way you're talking and engaging, all of that plays a part in setting an emotional setting and an environment, a kind of way that you're engaging with them. So to help that, check all the sound equipment before filming. Do a couple of test videos before you start filming to check the audio, make sure that it's got good quality. And then use subtitles if you're talking. It doesn't have to be exact. Make it, the shorter it is, actually, if you can convey the stuff in a short amount of words, the easier it is going to be to read for the audience. So therefore, those that aren't actually listening to the audio will get the same message, but they might get it a little bit quicker. And also people who are listening might also be able to just confirm what you're saying with that audio. And always edit videos so you start talking at the beginning of a video, not after a gap. We mentioned that before. That 3-second hook. Got to just start talking immediately. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is talking about different formats of TikTok. There are so many different TikTok types of videos. You can do instructional, reviews, you know, how-tos, journeys, stories. Oh, there's so many different types. We could spend an hour talking about each one and the benefits and everything else like that. It's all about kind of finding the right format for you. And it might be that you create a video that is an amalgamation of 2 or 3 different types of ones. What you've got to do is experiment with a format that works best for you and your audience. But at the same time, you don't want to be stale, so using the same one all the time. You want to change the routine, change the format from time to time, maybe do formats on certain days. So Friday's this type and Friday's this one. This is also about change different things inside the video. So the type of music you're using, you might use instrumental one time, especially if you're doing some kind of very high emotional ones. But if you're just doing like a slideshow or something, you might want to use something that's a bit more modern or a bit more pop or, you know, popular music or something like that. And you also want to look at posting at different times of the day to find out when your audience is on. Part of the thing with TikTok is that a lot of the studies have found when the engagement is. So they're looking at when people are liking the videos, commenting on the videos, following from the videos. The reason why they do that is because TikTok's algorithm is very unique compared to other platforms. And we'll go through this in a bit more detail. And what we mean by that is that the lifetime of your video is not going to be limited. Unlike other platforms, you go to Facebook, you go to X, formerly Twitter, or you go to YouTube. Sometimes your video can have a very short lifetime of which to make it a success, but that's not the case with TikTok. And what you want to do is you want to use analytics to see what is performing best, which videos are doing good, what they're doing. Are they getting comments? Are they getting likes? Are they getting favorited? And then you want to do these tests over multiple weeks or months. It's going to take a lot of time to get the data. And that's part of the problem with the TikTok algorithm, is that a video can be absolutely going nowhere for a few weeks and then suddenly take off. And that's why sometimes TikTok is a more gradual gain than some other platforms. Now, part of the thing with videos is that you're going to have to create video descriptions in order to ensure that you're going to be found. So why are they important? They allow you to attract a larger audience through TikTok search. So people are going to be using the search bar to find videos and using those keywords, those hashtags within the TikTok video description will allow you to be found through the TikTok search. Descriptions can encourage users to watch your video. So one of the things that people do is that sometimes they don't wait for the video to start playing, they read the description. Does the first few words of the video description make me want to make me want to watch the video, or is it going to be something boring? You can also move the user onto the next stage of a sales funnel. So we're talking about them moving on to your website or your profile or a mailing list or a different social media platform. Again, this is all within the description. You can encourage engagement, like we just said, and you can set expectations for the video and your brand. So some people, the first video they see, they won't know what to expect. But in that video description, you can tell them what they can expect and what they can expect, not just from that video, but also from that brand, but also from your brand. Now, video descriptions have gone through a bit of a change on TikTok. Originally, they were only about 130 characters, and you now have 2,200 characters to use. You can add URLs, emojis, hashtags, and text to these descriptions to make them unique, to make them more converting, to make them better for you. Excuse me. But there is a need to ensure that you're promoting your video, your brand, but at the same time being authentic and realistic. And that's important. You've got to hit the mark where you're adjusting, where you're where you're juggling the needs to promote your video, but also reaching those key criteria of the audience. We spoke about them very early on, so that they want authenticity. They want to know that they can trust you. It's all part about being trustable, being trusted by the audience. And research has shown that it's not the quantity of words that work on TikTok. So you have 2,200 characters, but you don't need to use 2,200 characters because it's not the quantity, it's the quality of the video descriptions. And that is one of the most important things. And one of the things that a lot of video creators do, especially when they're new, is that they use a lot of hashtags. And actually, audience still only want 3 to 5 hashtags per video. Now, this is actually slightly more than what you would expect on, say, Facebook or on X, formerly Twitter, because there you should only really have up to 3, and those with 1 would actually perform better. But on TikTok, 3 to 5. And what you want to do is have a mixture of high volume and high value. And this is, there's a big difference between the two. And people say, oh, isn't high volume high value? It's not, because high volume is about the number of searches and the number of people using that hashtag. And the thing is that if there's a lot of people using it, there's a lot of competition, and your chances of being found, especially when you're young and new on TikTok, diminishes. You might not even be found with it because everyone else who's using that hashtag is going to be placed above you. High value is those hashtags which are used, which have less competition. Now, they might not get as many searches for them. So you might have one that maybe only has 100 searches per day. But there are very few competitors who are using that hashtag. So the chance of being found increases substantially. So you might have one keyword that has, say, 100,000 searches per day, but because everyone's using it, you might get 1 or 2 people landing on your videos per day. But if you've got for 100 and you are one of only 2 or 3 people using that hashtag on that given day, then you might have 30 or 40 people who are going to watch your video. And that's the important difference, is that the high volume gets you 1 or 2, but the high value can get you 30 or 40. It's a huge difference, and it can make a big impact on your long-term results. So the core concepts, there's several of them here. It's to create a story that will emotionally engage the audience. as humans, we love to be emotionally drawn into the stories which we're being told, and it's no different on TikTok. Every video is a story, a piece of advice, and it's an emotional engagement. It's something that's drawing you in. And that's what they want. So you have to create something, that description, that will emotionally engage them and make them want to watch the video. You also want to ensure that you have something that your audience wants. So that's the value proposition. Why are they going to watch it? What are they going to get out of watching your video that they can't get from another video? Or it's going to be easier to get from your video, or it's going to be more worthwhile. What is it that you are giving them? You remember that a lot of social media, when we're talking about advertising, it's all about not what you've got, it's what you can give. And that's the important thing. And it's also, don't forget to add relevant hashtags. I really should highlight this because it's all about relevance. If you use relevant hashtags, you're going to get better results from your videos, because people are going to go, yeah, this video, I've searched for this hashtag and this is exactly the kind of content I wanted, and they're going to be more engaged with it. But if you use irrelevant hashtags and go, this is not what I expected, this is not what I wanted, click off, and then you've harmed yourself. You're making your video less appealing on the algorithm. Again, you've got 2,200 characters, and we said it in a previous slide, you don't have to use them all. Audiences tend not to read the entire descriptions. They may briefly look at it. Try to use as little as you can. And we've spoken about the jargon before. Don't use technical language. Speak in terms that the audience will understand. Talk to them in their, I don't want to say level of comprehension. Talk in natural human language, like you would talk to someone, a friend at a coffee, having a coffee with. And don't make industry inside jokes too often. You can make some inside jokes, but much of the audience it's just going to go over their heads. They're not going to like it. It can seem patronizing. It can seem like you're talking down to them. So the occasional inside joke can work well, but generally speaking, try to avoid them if you can. So what not to write on TikTok video descriptions. Don't write content with no value. Everything on that video description needs to have a purpose. It needs to either move the audience on to the next step of the journey or tell them about what they're going to get. It's got to have something, no filler in them. Don't use profanity or discriminatory language. It's a pretty obvious one. Don't use personal information. That's a safety one. So birthdays, anniversaries, addresses, things like that. Don't include that. Try not to use currency in the text unless it is essential. Part of this is because you want to create a global audience, because a global audience, even if you sell locally, can be quite helpful. Because, you know, if I was publishing something for for a local national business in the UK, I'd still want people in America, Canada, a place like that to view my content and maybe share it, because they might have contacts which are back in the UK, or it can just help with brand recognition. Again, keep to generic language. Don't use local colloquialisms. So I've really pronounced that one badly. Try to keep it to language that everyone will understand. Don't use local phrases that you might use in your talking to someone that you meet down the street or something like that, that they might understand. Remember that your audience could be from anywhere, and even inside the same country, you know, some things are said differently. Try to stick to the language that you know everyone will understand. And don't mix languages. Stick to one language, preferably for your key audience. There are people who do try to do Spanish and British, and it doesn't always work, or Spanish and English. So we've talked a bit about the hashtags, and here we've got a fairly simple way to generate TikTok hashtags, because this is going to be one of the hardest things that you're going to do, is finding those hashtags. So there is a free site here where you can generate the hashtags. All you do is you visit that site. In the first box, you type in a small description or just a keyword. So app development, software development, marketing, something like that. Then choose the number of hashtags you want, ideally 5. And then you can choose a tone you're looking for. There's a load of tones from story, things like that. And then you can click on the generate hashtags, and then you'll get a list of hashtags that you can use which are trending and are in high use, and you can copy those to your description. So how are we going to be promoting TikTok videos? So this is important because we've created them now, we've put on the description, we've published them, they're out in the world. We now need to get people to actually view them. TikTok's very different to other platforms. And one of them we've spoken, briefly touched upon it, about the lifespan. Facebook lifespan is only 1 to 2 days. You tend not to get videos on Facebook lasting that long. Sometimes if they become very popular, they can last a lot longer, but it's all about popularity. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it is just 10 to 20 minutes. You don't have that long for it to get the attention. Content on TikTok, on the other hand, can be on the platform. A video could be on the platform 1 or 2 years and be completely unknown. No one knows anything about it. No one watches it. No one sees anything. And then suddenly it becomes viral for no reason. It's just the algorithm has just decided that this video is good, or something. Someone's just come across it and they've liked it. And TikTok suddenly goes, right, this video has been liked. Let's show it to more people. And then more people like it. And then suddenly it starts to snowball into their massive video. And it's 2 years out. It's been done 2 years ago. And there was a video the other day I was looking at, and it was 4 years old. But 80% of the engagements were done in the last 2 weeks. And there was a comment on there of, oh, how have you done this? And so the person put down, oh, I did this 4 years ago. It's completely changed now. And it shows you that what you've got to put on TikTok has got to be kind of something that you're going to want to still have on there in 4 years' time, years of time, because it's not going to go away like you will on other platforms and you can just get rid of it. You'll have to get rid of it on TikTok if you don't want it there. But it could suddenly become viral at the drop of a hat and you don't know why. And that's the thing, is that TikTok has this algorithm that is completely different, and it pushes old content, new content. It doesn't care. It just wants quality. It just wants people to be happy with what they're watching. So they don't favor the small or the large brands. They just look for quality content, stuff that videos that people are engaging with, and they'll occasionally go, this video hasn't had much attention, we'll try it with this audience. And then suddenly it goes viral because they've hit the right audience suddenly, and then that video becomes really, really popular. And there is the For You, which is a promotional stream which is put together by the TikTok algorithm, which looks at what videos someone has engaged with. So if they've engaged with a lot of, say, cute baby animals, and people are publishing cute baby animals, it will push those, even though they've had no engagement before, it will push them into that stream and say, well, here's someone that's posting videos that you like. Do you like these ones as well? And people will spend time on them, and therefore that one then. So it's almost like, whereas on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter, and LinkedIn, you actually have to follow these new brands and you actually have to search for them. TikTok's doing a lot of the hard work for the audience, is saying, well, you like this stuff, so I'm going to give you more stuff like it. And that's the thing, is that your content will be pushed in front of new audiences by TikTok for you. It makes marketing really easy, because you can concentrate on creating the videos and not have to worry about promotion, because you just have to publish them. And you know that TikTok eventually will get there. But you don't always want to wait that long. You might also want to promote your videos yourself, and that can help you speed up. So not only are you relying on TikTok to push you in front of new audiences, but you yourself are pushing your videos in front of TikTok users. And that's really exciting, because you can use relevant hashtags in the video descriptions. As we said before, stick to 3 to 5, get them searching on the TikTok search and get those videos up on that search. You can publish at the best times for TikTok, and then you can do other things which are a little bit more forced. So for instance, you can run a TikTok giveaway, choose a prize that is relevant to your target audience, make the entry requirements easy to follow and understand, promote the giveaway and engage audiences who participate in the giveaway. Someone comments on it, comment back, say thank you. And then you can embed videos into your website or blog, and that way you can get people. And I've seen a lot of brands are now doing that. They've got a little bit on the side and watch our latest TikTok video, and it's giving them views. You can, and that's one of the things here, add your best or top performing videos to your website's sidebar. You can cross promote your videos on other social media channels. So create a small little trailer, view the full video on TikTok here. You can use Reddit to share your best informational videos. You can collaborate with other content creators to reach new audiences. A lot of them are doing that. They go and speak to one person in America, or go and speak to the UK and say, oh, why don't we do a video together? And they'll do a review of each other's videos, or they'll do a challenge between each other. They'll both post videos and then they'll share the usernames, and it connects the two people, and one set of audience will go to the other one, and it's really good. You keep up with the relevant trends. Like we said, don't use trends that aren't relevant, and don't be slow on the uptake. Trends come and go very quickly. Also, build a call to action to get more followers. So that's the long term, to get people, tell people to follow in the video. The last thing to do, don't forget to follow my videos in the description. Click on my profile picture to follow my videos. And then you might want to use other things, like you can use the email marketing. So on your email, put in your TikTok profile to get people to go from your email to your TikTok. Another way to increase those number of interaction points before that 15 to get that sale. And then you can use the TikTok promotional feature where you can promote your video so more people see it. And the cost for the TikTok promotion is actually cheaper than it is on other platforms. So when is the best time to publish on TikTok? Now, there's several studies here. I'm not going to go through them too detailed because and I'll show you, I'll explain why. Basically, this is one study. So one study here says Monday, 6 a.m., 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. This one, Tuesday, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 9 a.m., Wednesday, 7, 8, 11. You know, you're looking at these timings. And then this one has a heat graph. Now, this is the results from Social Sprout, who looked at all the videos published through their system of when they got the highest engagement. And this is what they found. And if you look, Monday has got very little engagement on it. You look at Wednesday and Thursday, it's got very, very high engagement. It's got like 9 and 10. On Wednesday, 9 and 10 aren't on the highest engagement. They're not there. It's 7, 8, and 11. And 7, 8, and 11 on here actually have lower engagements. So this was done on one platform. I think this one was done on HubSpot, I think. This one's done on Social Sprout. And then we have another one. This is Buffer's data, who did exactly the same thing. They looked at the data that was done on that was sent through their system. And you look at Wednesday and it's very low engagement. Tuesday afternoon's great. Monday's barely anything, and Saturday's barely anything. But Tuesday's great. Wednesday's not good. Thursday's a little bit, but not really there. But you look at this and you've got Wednesday, Thursday, really high engagement. Tuesday, a little bit of engagement. But there's nothing, it doesn't correlate. There's no correlation between them. So the takeaways from these studies is that it depends on the audience and the brand. It depends on your videos. It depends on who you are. So you're going to have to experiment with your audience to see what they want when they do that. The only thing that seems to be consistent is that Sunday is not a very valuable day for engagement. So there's no point. It's also that these surveys are about engagement, not when posts are published. And this is an important thing. If we remember back to what I was saying about the algorithm will push your videos out to the audience when they're online, when they're scrolling through. So these studies here are showing us when people are actually using TikTok, not when people are publishing videos. And that might be very important because you could probably then publish whenever you've got time, but that's when you're going to expect people to be engaging with them. Tuesday evening and Wednesdays fairly active days because we've had a few of those. They're almost consistency there, but not quite. And experiment. When in doubt, try another time. And use the analytics to discover when your brand's time is best. When are your audience engaging? And if you're finding it's random, it probably because it is. Probably because it is just when the audience is online, not when you're publishing. So now we need to be talking about moving people from TikTok to other platforms. So the ultimate goal is to move audiences from one platform to the next. Use call to actions to move them from one platform to another. Tell them, go and visit my website. Use links in the profiles and video descriptions. Always include those. Offer them a reward for moving to another platform. So when we're talking about that, we're talking about free PDFs, free consulting hour, free review or something like that. You could also add a sequel to your video on another platform. So they have to move to continue the journey. So create a trailer on TikTok. Oh, this is one of the hacks for a morning routine. Want to see the other 4? Go and visit Instagram. Or want to see the other 4? Go visit my blog. Or sign up to my mailing list and I'll send them to you. Create a form that subscribes them to the mailing list as well. And you can do that with MailChimp. You can create a form and they click on it. It comes up on the screen here, fill in the details, and they're on your mailing list. Ask them to join you on other platforms. So in the videos, ask them to join your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever other platforms you're using. And again, we're saying don't use the same content on other platforms. They're not going to move to the other platforms. If you're using the same content, they're going to stay on TikTok because they don't need to join the other ones. So how do we connect to other TikTokers? Now, this is important because there are two audiences. One of them is content creators and the other is content consumers. Both of these people need to have different strategies in order to properly and effectively manage engagements between you and them. Connecting with other content creators will allow you to reach new audiences and expand your potential success on the platform. Connecting with consumers allows you to get more brand ambassadors that can help you sell more and reach like-minded audiences, but can also help you connect with potential leads as in them. Connecting with content creators, it's all about finding similar content creators who have content within the same niche. You can favorite, like, and comment on their content. Then you can reach out to them about doing collaborations. You can also repost and share their content and respond to their questions or prompts in videos. So if they ask in a question, what do you think about this? Answer it. Because not only are you there for getting on that comment list, which other users will see, but you're also telling the content creator that you're an engaged person, you're an active person, you're someone that they might want to engage with in the future. You're joining them in, you're joining the audience, you're joining the community. Connecting with consumers. You want to respond to comments which are made in your videos with a like and a thank you or a response. It's a conversation. Continue that conversation. Answer any questions which are made for you. Very similar. And occasionally you can include the comment strip names of followers in videos. That's often done. Someone will say, oh, what about this? And you can answer that in a video. Oh, someone on this video asked, how do I do this? And this is how you do it. And you've got 47 seconds to do that. And that builds a rapport with content consumers through high value engagements. And those high value engagements are what's going to turn people who are scrolling to find new content into brand ambassadors that will encourage others to follow you and will eventually, hopefully, become sales. So quick social media rules for fresher, because it's always important. Any user-sponsored content must be revealed. Any pre-existing relationship when a review is written or provided must be announced. Very important on TikTok because you can get banned for those sorts of things. Cannot use third-party content without permission. You cannot contact people on TikTok without permission for the sole purpose of selling to them. Really important ones. What doesn't protect you? Again, you've sourced it from the internet, so you can't use anything off the internet in your videos. Don't use anything from films either or anything like that. Nothing that's you haven't made changes. You've made changes to the original content. No, you've used part of a protected work. No, you've credited the original artist or owner. There's no commercial purposes. AI generated content. Again, so there has been a study that says some AI content is now duplicating. Bought the image for use on another website. If you haven't got rights to use it on TikTok, you can't use it. Another person used it without permission. Doesn't protect you. Again, how do you prevent them? By following the rules. Don't use the content you've developed your site yourself. Use sites where you know you've got the right. If you purchase an image or video, keep documents. Ensure you understand any licensing agreements. Check you're using the right hashtags when you're using sponsored content, and announce any sponsorship or affiliate marketing from a previous relationship. And that brings us to the end of today's presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them.